Hey there, it's Les Solgrove. It is February 16th, 2025, and we're halfway through the month of February. You remember that January we just come through where we said, man, it's a pretty mild winter? Well, we just had a week of heavy snow, and it sounds like we're going to get into a little bit of precipitation again here next week or so. But hey, real estate continues to sell, and we're off to a pretty good pace. So this week's show, I thought what I'd do is try to figure out, what kind of market were we in, as far as does it feel like a few years ago, or are we still in uncharted territories as far as what the market's feeling like? So let's jump in, and this is going to be a time, basically a look back in time episode. So I hope you'll stick with me. It's going to be a pretty good one. Have you ever wanted to time travel? I always did when I was a kid, and this is kind of what this week's edition is all about. We're going to look back to 2019. I've had agents tell me the last couple of years that, you know what, if we can get back to 2019 market activity, or it feels like 2019. I think that things will all be good and well. And with some exceptions that I'll point out today, we are really, I think, kind of back to that 2019 business. So let's turn back the clock and see a little bit about what's going on in the marketplace here. So this is the weekly dashboard. And first off, I have is a little bit of an Easter egg. You know what an Easter egg is? It's where there's a little hidden icon or hidden surprise. If you've noticed here, each week I have the current week's video homepage, so or basically the screen capture here. This page right here shows up on each week's show, and what that does is it allows you, when you're searching for a video, if you want to look up the market dashboard and you want to see which video it is, this is a picture of the video that thumbnail that comes up on the video. So just a little hint there. That's how that works. Also want to say thank you so much. I had 7 new subscribers last week. I'm up to 825, and I'm looking forward to later this week when I get to talk to the YPN event membership. We're going to have members there of all ages and all experiences, and this is the show each year put on by Des Moines Area Association of Realtors YPN group, and I'm thankful to be invited back for a 3rd year. We're going to have a great show this week. It's on Thursday. If you haven't registered, I think that maybe registration is probably, it may be full, but check on Monday if you want to come to that. It's Thursday over at the Embassy Suites down by the Iowa Association and DMAR offices there. So one hint would be, if you are coming and have already registered, get there early, because parking's a premium, especially right now with all the construction going on. So anyway, let's kind of jump in here and talk a little bit about the dashboard and how it compares to 2019. I think this is a good jumping off point here. So we're going to focus first of all right here on this panel here. And what I've done was I've basically I'm showing you here side by side what the inventory levels would be if we were back in 2019. And this is what kind of got me excited. I'm looking here at levels of inventory this year, currently on week 7, and it's February 16th of 2025. We look back to February 17th of 2019, that's 6 years ago. Look at the inventory levels. We are like within 5 homes on the market. The inventory on the existing homes for sale is down a little bit, and new construction is a little different there. But we're picking up a little bit fewer homes on the market here in the new construction, or not in the condo townhome sections, and that's really kind of keeping our inventory levels balanced right there at 3420 versus 3425. We also, you can see that the new listing counts are pretty similar. We've brought on a few more listings this last week than we did 6 years ago. Pending sales are pretty much right spot on, and closed sales were within 1 closed sale right there. And as far as days on market, again, we're very similar: 42 to 41, 39 to 33, and things like that. Months of inventory is also very close. Now, I will say that once we get into the new construction, that's where some of the differences are on this months of inventory. Right now we're at 6 months inventory and 9.4 months for the new construction condo townhomes, where 6 years ago we were um, almost double that in those categories. But gosh, this is just really a good sign that shows us we're kind of coming back to 2019, and just kind of see this in a little different view. I've altered this year over year review. This is the one where I look at 2025 year to date. So this is the first 7 weeks, this green columns right there. And then the dashes are where we were last year at the same time. And that just kind of helps us project maybe where we're going to be in 2024. But what I've done was I've overlaid this 2019 purple line. And I know you purists are saying, well, I should, this is out of order, but this is just the way it's going to have to show. It's 2019 versus 2025. And you can see the purple line, we're almost lockstep with our inventory from 6 years ago. And I think that this is going to be an interesting one to follow. I'll follow this up here several weeks throughout the year, but I think that, it looks like we're pretty much right on track with where we were in 2019. And this is the purple path showing you where we were with inventory in 2019. We got above 4,000 homes for sale around week 30, 31, and stayed above that throughout the year. I think maybe if anything, we're going to see our inventory grow even more than 2019, and that's going to be a good sign. But basically, if we can kind of outdo 2019, that's really our marker to shoot for. As far as days on market goes, this is that same pattern here. So again, here's our um, let's see here. The column chart is so far 7 weeks in, and you can see that we're following pretty close to what we did in 2019. Um, as we get closer to the start of the spring market, we're going to see this probably drop pretty dramatically. But again, I think that if right now we're kind of mimicking 2019 days on market with just a little over 40 days on the market there. So we'll kind of watch that. Uh, all homes months of inventory. This is basically the measurement of if no new homes came in the market, how long would we be able to sell homes at our current inventory level before we ran out? And again, we are very, very close to 2019, a little bit faster, a little bit lower inventory levels, which means our pace is picking up a little bit more than it did in 2019. That's probably a good sign. But you can see once we get around week 15 or 16, it looks like, compared to last year anyway, months of inventory is going to be pretty much lockstep until we get near the end of the year. This little bump right here, this is the result of our lower mortgage rates for that short period of time. It kind of jostled the market just a bit, but it's just kind of a good marker to look at here. So now if we look at this second panel here, and I grayed out the linear because we're going to look at a couple of those here side by side in a second here, but this is showing you the median list price. And I thought this was kind of interesting. Look at this. We've got, the median list price of all properties compared to 6 years ago is up $75,000. We know we've seen price increases, and much of that came here in 2022 when we saw our pricing really rise. But we're about 26, almost 27% pricing on higher of list prices. And existing homes is over 30%. Condo townhomes are up over 33% at 61,000 more than they were back 6 years ago. This is where home buyers are feeling the majority of the pain right now is the rise in pricing. If they, most likely these first time home buyers weren't in the market at that time, but if you were a move up buyer, it felt like home prices were up a bit, the last couple of years, and sure enough, this confirms that fact there. So let's take a look and see how that looks on the long-term chart here. So again, the green columns are so far year to date, 7 weeks in, and we're just pretty much right in lockstep with where we were last year in 2024. But that low point here, this is from 2019. The one thing I want to point out here is the gap between all these weeks tends to be fairly close. Although last year our median list pricing stayed a little bit higher, so this gap started to increase right in here about that second half of the year. And we ended the year of 2019 down around that $255,000 mark, where last year we ended it right around that $355,000 mark. So again, um, I think we've got a little bit of ways. If prices were to drop, we would start to see this narrow. And so this is going to be a valuable graphic to look at moving forward. As far as looking at just new homes on the market, because that's one that we, don't really talk about a lot, but new homes again are seeing some of that similar gap. But the one thing we saw last year was stability. We were really, really close to 400,000. It didn't vary by more than about $5,000 in list price all year long. We stayed right at that $400,000 price point, plus or minus, or basically plus or minus 395 to 400. You can see back in 2019, new construction pricing was kind of coming down just a bit after about the first 8 weeks or 17 weeks, I should say, about the first 17 weeks of the year started to come down a bit. I think we're going to see a pretty much a similar path here in 2025. We're going to see our new pricing stay up there. Now, what really matters, though, is not where the prices are starting at with listing. It's how much they are at the time of sale pricing. And so we're going to do this same exercise here, looking at median sale price. And again, all properties are up overall. Median sale price is up by 92,500 from 6 years ago. So that's a almost 50% increase in pricing when we were looking at, $195,000 was the median sale price for all homes back in 2019. Um, the new construction, surprisingly, is only at a 12% increase. And I think that, that's a testament to the fact that, there's a limit to how much home buyers are willing to spend on the list pricing. And they get down here to new construction pricing, the difference is only about 40,000. So 335.2 versus 375.5. Keep in mind, some of that new construction in the last year or so is probably not including a lot of add-ins because of affordability. So you might be getting the same size and style home, but it might be with maybe either a non-finished basement or less than finish in the basement, or maybe not as many new add-ons, or concessions and things like that. So let's see. Before we forget that here, before we go on, want to talk about the year-to-date closed sales. We're at 976 closed sales in 2019 at this juncture, and we're at 980. So we're just 4 sales away. We are lockstep right there as far as the pace of closed sales. In fact, this coming week, we will probably, Monday or Tuesday, probably push over that 1,000 milestone, and I'll talk about that next week. As far as median sale prices, looking at this same graphic here, the 7 weeks in, you can see that our sale price is up a little bit over last year, right around that $280,000, 282, 285, somewhere in there. And we're starting to see that. It was pretty steady for about the first 10 or 12 weeks there last year, especially upcoming weeks 8 through 13. We saw that right at that 275. But we're going to see this rise just naturally because it's a spring market, and you can see back in 2016 or 2019 that we also saw that it tended to pick up a little bit in the spring, and then again in the summertime markets where maybe we saw some of that new construction coming in and selling and finally closing from early month sales there. Again, the gap is fairly consistent. There's a little bit of a narrowing here as we get toward the last part of the year compared to 2019, but I think that again, median sale prices are here to stay kind of where they are. So we're going to finish this one up here with looking at open houses and some price increases. I don't have a graphic showing you the bank-owned differences, but we're only off by one home in the bank-owned category, which is like that pre-foreclosure or short sale stuff. And it's really down there. It's only like 35 or 34 of them on the market so far this year. This bottom category down here is this bottom one is the uh, 2019 and 2025 up here at the top. I forgot the tags up here. I forgot to put those on. Sorry about that. So this is 2025 up here, and this is 2019 down here. You will notice that the back on market counts, I wasn't calculating that until 2020, so I don't have anything to compare that to. I would say that when I looked at 2020 of this same week, we were pretty close to that same percentage number. So homes coming off the market due to sale fall throughs is pretty similar. But open houses have been up this last couple of years quite a bit, and price changes have been different than what we're used to. So let's take a look at those long-term graphics. and see, first of all, price increases. We only had that 1 week last year. Well, actually, we had 2 weeks last year where the price increases were kind of spiked there. Those are pretty much builder adjustments. We've seen that builder adjustment pricing already hit us on week 3 this year when we had over 60 homes come in with price increases. Again, those are traditionally what's happening is new builders are adjusting their new stock pricing for the rest of the year, and then they would typically, like last year, you saw we had 1 week there about week 16 where we saw another price increase changing, um, and then nothing really until we got toward the end of the year. Looking at 2019, again, that's the purple line. We're if you take out this anomaly here, we're pretty darn on track, close to being on track with what we saw last year, or so far year to date this year. I think this is going to be a pretty easy one to predict that we're going to see something very, very similar to both 2019 as well as 2024. We may see again a couple of those weeks where we see a spike due to some builder pricing here. Some of that might change if there are some tariffs going into effect. We'll have to see how that affects the marketplace. As far as price reductions go, again, we are currently outpacing last year's price reductions as well as 2019. I think we're going to continue to see that. We'll see what happens when we get around week 15, 16, which is like the heart of the spring marketplace here when home sellers are really having to compete with other listings coming on. We tend to see more activity that second quarter of the year. And I think we're going to see, continued price reductions as we move out through the year. But you can see that 2019 was pretty much similar to what we saw in 2024, maybe a little bit higher in price reductions. And that kind of surprised me because I felt like the last couple of years here that price reductions were out of this world, just totally something we had never seen before. But until you look back and overlay that 2019 numbers, this gives me great comfort knowing that we're kind of coming back to that normalcy. As far as open houses go, all I'm going to show you here is the combined new and existing. Open houses are a category where we're seeing a lot more activity. Whether it's because of the last year's lawsuit settlement, and you've got home buyers wanting to get their into homes that are on open houses, and sellers are responding to that, or if it's just simply the fact that the market is slowing down a bit this last couple of years compared to the COVID years, and sellers are saying, do everything you can to get our home sold. So I think that's probably more what's happening there. We're seeing more open houses, and basically we're seeing more new construction open houses. That's where we're seeing the most of this new growth here. So we are probably going to see more open houses as we go throughout the whole year. And last year's open houses were very similar to 2019, still raised a little bit as you see that comparison there. So anyway, that is the show this week again. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you all again next week. Again, please do me a favor, subscribe, hit that subscribe channel. And if you're going to see me at the YPN group this week, come up and say hi. I'd love to talk to you about what you like, and we'll try to make this show as valuable as possible. So with that, be safe out there. Shovel lots of snow if it comes, and be safe and don't fall down. We'll talk to y'all again next Sunday.